In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NHL games happening on January 4th, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets, as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 NHL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Montreal Canadiens versus Dallas Stars. The Stars will probably still get a little respect at home, but they are in a rough patch right now, and their defense has really gone off a cliff lately. The Canadiens keep getting priced like long shots, yet they keep finding ways to win games, especially on the road, where they already have 12 victories. This is their 7th straight road game, so you can absolutely imagine some heavy legs and a group that would not mind getting back home soon. Even with that fatigue angle lurking in the background, the bigger price on Montreal still holds the value, given how they have performed this season and how shaky the Stars look at the moment. As our first pick for this matchup, the Montreal Canadiens money line is our full game side pick. The Canadiens sit 6th in the league in goals per game, and they bring the 8th best power play, which naturally pushes games toward higher scores. Dallas is even more explosive on paper, ranking 3rd in goals per game with the 2nd best power play, so both units can punish mistakes if they get a few chances. That kind of firepower on both sides is a big reason the over has hit in 4 of Montreal's last 6 games, in 5 of their last 7 at home, and in 5 of Dallas' last 7 overall. Lately, the defensive side has not exactly calmed things down either, with Montreal allowing 5 goals in 2 of their last 4 outings and either scoring or giving up at least 4 in 12 of their last 14. Dallas comes in on a rare 4-game losing streak, giving up 4 goals in each of those losses after a stretch in which they poured in 22 goals across the prior 4 games. When you blend that kind of recent volatility with those totals trends, it points toward another game that is more likely to land on the higher scoring side of the number. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Pittsburgh Penguins versus Columbus Blue Jackets. The lights come up in Columbus, and this one has that sneaky big game feel to it, even if the standings graphic still has some winter chill on it yet. The Penguins walk in on a heater, 4 wins in a row, looking like a team that remembered it still has a pretty serious reputation to live up to after that ugly stretch earlier in the season. On the other bench, the Blue Jackets are not exactly rolling out a red carpet. They have taken 4 of their last 5 and just snapped Buffalo's 10-game joyride. So they come in with that "we finally punched someone in the mouth" confidence that you can feel through the TV. Honestly, that is what makes the spread here interesting. You are not dealing with a classic heavyweight against a doormat. Instead, you have a road team with a 19-12-9 mark that has finally steadied after an 8-game mess, and a home team at 18-16-6 that knows it is last in the division, but is starting to behave less like an easy 2 points and more like the annoying colleague who now reads the meeting notes. Pittsburgh's veteran core has seen every possible flavor of mid-season trap game, so there is a calm, methodical feel to how they have been closing lately, while Columbus still has that younger, swingy energy, which can be fun but can also burn tickets fast when the game tightens in the 3rd. Here is the thing: the building itself matters too. Nationwide is not exactly a graveyard. The Jackets are a little over break-even at home, and that crowd loves a scrap, but Pittsburgh has quietly handled business on the road with a record that also sits on the positive side of the ledger, which matters a lot when you care about numbers and not just the logo at center ice. Road wins with structure are one of those boring, adult things good teams do, like remembering to pay the power bill, and this Penguins group has recently leaned back into that identity after flirting with chaos earlier. Special teams tilt the conversation a bit more. Pittsburgh's power play has hovered around that shiny 30% mark, which is the kind of rate that can blow up a spread in one bad penalty stretch, and their penalty kill has held up well enough that you rarely feel like they are one whistle away from disaster. Columbus, for all the good vibes of the last week, is still more in that middle of the pack space with its power play and has spent much of the season trying to plug leaks rather than dictating terms with the extra skater. When you are thinking about which side covers, having the clearly more dangerous special teams setup is like walking into an exam already knowing at least a third of the questions. You might still mess up, but the curve bends your way. Then you add in the schedule quirk. Both teams went hard on Saturday, both teams won, and now they spin right into a Sunday afternoon puck drop. On short rest, systems usually matter more than creativity, which tends to favor the team that has already shown it can win different styles of games, not just track meets or desperation comebacks. Columbus has been better about closing the door lately, especially with Jet Greaves settling in, but their larger body of work still includes a lot of "we almost had it" results, while Pittsburgh's current run has more of that "no, we actually finished the job" flavor. So when you zoom out, you have a surging, battle-tested road team with strong special teams and a solid road record, facing a home side that is trending up but still fighting its own habits in tight games, all in a divisional spot where the details swing the spread more than the highlight reels. For a lot of bettors, that combination of recent form, veteran poise, and special teams edge points to one team feeling more trustworthy against the number, even if the underdog is feisty and better than its early season reputation. As our first pick for this matchup, the Pittsburgh Penguins money line is our full game side pick. If you only looked at season averages, you might expect a pretty honest, middle-of-the-road scoreline, something where both attacks show up but nobody turns it into a pond hockey throwback. Pittsburgh's games have hovered right around that 6-goal neighborhood, with the team scoring a bit over 3 per night and allowing just over 3, which feels very modern normal for the league. Columbus has been a touch more generous in both directions, around 3 for and a hair over 3 against, which usually screams volatility rather than automatic fireworks. It is the kind of profile where you get some 4-1 snoozers and some 5-4 chaos in the same month. Recently, though, the picture has shifted a bit. Columbus has allowed only a small handful of goals across that run of wins over the Islanders, Senators, and Sabres, with Greaves looking calm and the group in front of him finally boxing out like someone reminded them there are clips on social media now. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, just held Detroit to 12 shots in that 4-1 win and has already shown it can slam the door when it wants, even while putting up crooked numbers at the other end. So you end up with this odd blend. Season-long numbers suggest there will be action. Recent form suggests both sides have figured out how to play a more grown-up, structured game when needed. The schedule layer is where a lot of total handicappers lean in. Back-to-backs tend to eat some of the jump out of legs, especially in an afternoon game where bodies are still somewhere between breakfast and pre-game nap, and that often means fewer clean rushes and more get-it-deep, change, live to fight the next shift kind of hockey. Coaches love that on days like this. Simple changes, shorter shifts, less cheating for offense, because they know there is a long grind ahead with 9 games in a couple weeks for Pittsburgh and a big chance for Columbus to keep chipping away in the Metro. Of course, there is a counter-argument that both teams come in feeling themselves after scoring sprees, and sometimes that swagger carries straight into the next game. When you just hung 7 on one opponent and 5 on another, you do not walk into the rink thinking, "Let us win 1-0. You are probably picturing another multi-point night and maybe a celly or 2 you have not used yet. That is where totals get tricky. You are balancing human nature. Players want to score, with the reality that tired legs and tighter benches tend to pull games toward more controlled, half-court style hockey. The rink itself nudges things as well. Nationwide can get loud, but the surface and the setup are pretty standard. This is not some quirky building where pucks take wild hops or the boards gift you random offense every period. So the story becomes less about any strange home ice boost to scoring and more about how both teams choose to manage risk in a spot where both would be perfectly happy banking even a low-event win, just to keep their recent momentum intact. Put all of that together, and you have a total that sits in a very interesting pocket. Recent defensive discipline on both sides, hot goaltending coming in, a back-to-back afternoon setup that usually trims some of the chaos, but also 2 teams that have been filling the net enough lately to make you second-guess any extreme stance. It is not so much a question of whether there will be chances, there will, but rather whether the fatigue, structure, and coaching choices cap how many of those chances actually get finished. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Colorado Avalanche versus Florida Panthers. Colorado rolls into this matchup trying to stretch a 10-game winning streak, but they did skate last night, so this is a true back-to-back spot for them. Their body of work on the road is still ridiculous, with a 14-2-5 mark away from home, while Florida sits at 13-9-3 on home ice. The Panthers have dropped 3 of their last 4, and in those losses they were held to 2 goals or fewer each time, which is usually a warning sign for a team that leans on pressure and pace. Florida is still a tough out in their own building, and you can pretty easily picture that group being dialed in after back-to-back losses, especially one that turned into a Winter Classic embarrassment that everyone saw on national television. There is a bit of championship pride energy here, the kind of spot where a veteran room wants to remind people they have rings and they are not just background noise now. The twist is that Colorado has basically looked like the class of the league wire to wire, and they come in throwing punches every night while riding that 10-game heater. Odds makers are still giving Florida a fair amount of respect with this number, which quietly gives us a rare chance to back the Avalanche at a price that probably will not show up often if they keep steamrolling teams. They already smacked the Panthers 6-2 about a month ago, and the way they are carrying themselves right now, they are handing out that kind of beating to plenty of opponents. Sure, this streak is not going to last forever, and a back-to-back on the road against a proud home team is exactly the kind of spot where a run can end. But given the current level Colorado is playing at and the relatively friendly number, it is hard not to lean their way in this one. As our first pick for this matchup, the Colorado Avalanche money line is our full game side pick. Florida averages 3.13 goals per game, and with Sam Reinhart, Brad Marchand, and the rest of that forward group carrying pucks through the neutral zone and into soft areas, they tend to generate clean looks with quick little touch passes and short area movement. When that top 6 is clicking, it feels like every other shift ends with a dangerous shot from the slot or a backdoor tap-in. Colorado comes in averaging 4.05 goals per game, and they have the kind of layered attack that can really test a defense that has been leaking a bit lately. The Panthers have allowed 8 goals across their last 2 games, and now they face a group with Nathan MacKinnon driving play, Martin Necas and Artturi Lehkonen supporting with speed and finish, and Cale Makar walking the blue line and threading pucks into seams. That combination of puck movement and zone time usually wears down coverage, and it only takes a couple of blown assignments for the game to tilt toward a track meet. Both teams have offenses that are built to attack, not sit back, and they tend to keep pushing even with a lead rather than shutting things down early. From the opening puck drop, this feels like one of those matchups where rush chances, power plays, and extended offensive zone shifts stack up, and if that happens for both sides, a higher scoring final lands very much in play. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Carolina Hurricanes versus New Jersey Devils. New Jersey heads into this matchup chasing a 3rd straight win, and they have held opponents to 2 goals or fewer in 3 of their last 5 games. At home, the Devils are sitting at 11-7-2, while the Hurricanes have been strong travelers with an 11-6-2 mark on the road this season. Carolina has dropped 3 in a row, giving up 17 goals across those losses, which is a rough look for a group that usually leans on defensive structure. The defense has clearly sprung some leaks over the last few weeks, but here they get a New Jersey team that tends to live on the lower scoring side more often than not. The Hurricanes are stuck in one of those ugly weeks where the blue line is getting picked apart, and usually that does not suddenly fix itself at the tail end of a back-to-back. Here is the thing, the Devils are dealing with a similar schedule crunch, so we will see if their recent offensive push can actually hold up once the legs start to feel heavy. The Canes have taken 6 of the last 7 meetings with New Jersey, and a lot of those games have not even been close, which quietly boosts their confidence in this matchup. Honestly, we are not used to seeing the Hurricanes at such a cheap price, so there is a real argument to simply trust their overall quality while the number is still friendly. In a spot where both teams are tired but one side has a proven track record against this opponent, backing Carolina makes sense if you can live with a bit of short-term noise in their current form. As our first pick for this matchup, the Carolina Hurricanes money line is our full game side pick. Carolina has put up 3.28 goals per game and has allowed 3 goals against per game, while running a power play at 19.0% and a penalty kill at 79.8% this season. New Jersey has managed 2.65 goals per game and has also allowed 3 goals against per game, along with a 21.4% power play and a 76.4% penalty kill this year. Those numbers paint a picture of two teams that are not exactly trading 5-goal nights back and forth, especially with the Devils pulling the average down on their side of the ledger. When you mix a lower-scoring home team with special teams that are solid but not overwhelming, it is easy to picture long stretches of 5-on-5 play where clean chances are a bit harder to come by. In that kind of rhythm, where both sides are more likely to grind through shifts than race up and down the ice, the total naturally leans toward a tighter final score rather than a wide-open shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Vegas Golden Knights versus Chicago Blackhawks. The price is a bit rich, but Vegas is still clearly the stronger side when you look at structure and top-tier talent. Chicago has been playing a little better recently, but they still sit 29th in shots allowed per game, which usually catches up with you against a puck possession team. Vegas tends to hold the puck for long stretches, so it is hard to see the Blackhawks sustaining real pressure for a full 60 minutes without cracking. Even with a banged-up blue line, Eichel and Marner should be able to work their way around the Blackhawks' defensive zone and tilt the ice enough for the visitors to grab the result and cover the number. As our first pick for this matchup, the Vegas Golden Knights to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. On the scoring side, recent form points toward a more open game where goals come in bunches. Vegas has given up 15 goals over their last 4 games, and that leaky stretch ties directly back to those defensive injuries that keep forcing depth players into bigger roles. Chicago, meanwhile, has seen the overcash in 4 of their last 5 contests, so their games have already been leaning toward higher totals. With Bedard and Eichel on the ice, plus both teams likely rolling out backup or out-of-sorts goaltending, a final like 4-2 or 5-3 feels very realistic rather than some wild outlier. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.